Hello everybody. I hope you all are doing good. And as you know that we were discussing about organizational change models and we have already covered 3 to 4 models of change. So today we'll be covering ATKAR model. Okay. So ATKAR model or theory of change is goal oriented tool or model which makes it possible for the various change management teams to focus on those steps or on those activities that are directly related to the goals. Which goals? Obviously, the company's goals wants to reach to. So the goals as well as the results derived and defined using this model are cumulative and in a very good sequence. Okay, so organizational change, we all know that they usually meets with employees resistance. Nobody likes to have a change. They try to resist the change. Mostly the employees at middle level, lower level, they try to resist the change. Now a card model is a change management tool to identify why change is difficult, why people don't change, and why some changes succeed while others are not succeeded or they are unsuccessful. So the name ADKAR actually it is an acronym. It is an acronym that is based on 5 building block that brings about successful change. The letters stands for A stands for awareness, D stands for desire, K stands for knowledge, A stands for ability, and R stands for reinforcement. Now, the ADKAR model was developed by Jeff Hyatt in 2003. Okay, but it was introduced as a practical tool by Processy. Okay, now Processy was a renowned change management consultancy, okay, and a learning center as well. So the ADKAR model is mainly intended to be a coaching and change management tool to help and assist employees through the change process within organization. Okay, remember that ADKAR is an acronym that is based on 5 building blocks. Okay, the letter stands for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. So all 5 elements of ADKAR models are sequential. When bringing about change, it is important that everyone understands the reason for the change as the natural reaction of employees to resist to change is to resist. That is why people need to be made aware of the need for change. So the precondition for implementing change is sound and extensive knowledge. Okay, so learning a new skills and steering towards a different behavior are part of this. After change has been implemented, it is necessary that this change is sustained in long run. Okay, this change is sustained in order to prevent a lapse into former behavior. So let's study each of these elements or each of this letter one by one. Okay, so the very first is ADKAR model basically stands for awareness. Now, awareness of the need and requirement for the change. Now, employees, they must be made aware of the need for change. They should be aware that why the change is required. Okay, why the change is important, what is the urgency of the need. So a kind of urgency should be created in the minds of the employees working in an organization. Two things should be focused. The very first is the need. Okay, second is the requirement. If these things are well known to the employees, then the change will come very smoothly in any organization. Second is desire to bring about change and be a participant in it. Okay, employees must have the desire to participate, obviously, and fully support the change. Now, if the employees will not fully participate in the change process, if they will not have a inner desire to change, then the change process will be a failure. Okay, so there should be a desire in the minds of the people, in the minds of the employees. There should be a desire to change. Next is knowledge. knowledge of how to bring about this change. By gathering knowledge about the change process, the ultimate goal of the change will become clear for all the employees. Okay, they should try to gather knowledge. Next is ability. Because the ability to learn new skills and by managing behavior, change is accepted. Last is reinforcement. We all know reinforcement to sustain the change makes it clear for all the employees that there is no turning back. We should reinforce it to keep it implemented and reinforced later on as well. Okay, so we all know that change occurs on two dimensions: the organization level and the employees level. Change can only be succeeded if the change takes place simultaneously on the both dimensions, on the organization as well as on the employees. If there is kind of stagnation surfaces in one of the building blocks in a car model, in any of the blocks that we have discussed, even if it is awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, reinforcement, then it is advisable to take action with respect to this element. This is a kind of targeted approach that focuses on the element with the highest chance of success. So the ADKAR model does not just help to determine it in advance what steps need to be taken to achieve the right goal, but it also identifies with the benefits of hindsight why changes have not been successful. Okay, so this evaluation is valuable because it can help realize the change after all. Okay, so this ADKAR model, this is again a very basic model, easy model, helps the change agent to check at every step that where their employee or where their employees are not working well. Okay, so, by outlining the goals and outcomes of successful change, the ADKAR model is an effective tool for planning change management activities, for equipping your leaders, facilitating change, and supporting your employees throughout the change process. Okay, for this, you should have the best management practices. Obviously, you should be focused on driving individual change. You should have clear goals, you should have a simple framework, you should have a very common change language. Okay, so these are the 5 blocks that we have discussed. And at any step, if the employees are sidelining the change, they are sidelining any activity, we can be very we can very particularly we can see that where the employees are not joining hands and where they are working well and where they are working very smoothly. So this is a very important and very simple kind of model. Okay, it was developed in 2003. So this is all about it car model. And in our next presentations, in our next slides, we'll be covering again, we'll be covering different organizational models. Till then, take care.